What is up, everybody? So I want to give a ranger build out there. I feel like this is a fucking fun build to do. I've been playing the hell out of the ranger recently, and for some fucking reason, the winter infusion makes my character look like way darker in this fractal area, where usually it makes it my character look like super white and pale, and it looks kind of cool. But uh, I don't know. I guess that's a fractal, maybe a lighting. I don't know. It's not a big deal though. So yeah, let's just jump straight into this. So this is going to be a Soulbeast build. Actually, before we really dive into this, I want to actually mention how the hell do I play Soulbeast? Some people love to just camp out in beast mode. I respect that. However, I find that to be incredibly boring. I do not want to just spend my time without my pet when the whole, one of the biggest reasons why I'm playing the Ranger is that interaction with the pet. And so what I do with Soul Beast is I pop into it, use the damage skills, and then I pop out. That's what I do. And I let my pet use its AI skills and stuff like that. Now I use a variety of different pets for different circumstances and whenever I'm feeling like using a different pet or something. And we will, trust me, we will talk about that in a second. But anyway, let's get into the gear. So we have Berserker armor with um, Berserker weapons. Now, anytime I can go with Marauder over Berserker, I will always do that. I always prefer Marauder over Berserker. So that's why with the backpack I have actually, no, I have Knight. Never mind. I usually have Marauder on there, but I'm good, a bit different. Uh, we have Marauder Greatsword here. And yeah, so for our rune, it's a bit different this time. It's going to be the superior rune to durability. Usually I go with like some other runes, but durability is different. You can't actually buy this off the trading post. You have to go to an exalted vendor in Oric Basin. At least that's what I did. And you have to buy it with the lump material or whatever the fuck it's called. What is that material called again? Hold on. It's like a lump of something. It's yeah, lumps of Aurelium, I think that is. And it costs quite a bit. I mean, you have to do, I think, a few meta events for to be able to get that. Um, so yeah, I would recommend just like doing the Octavine whenever you can, even if you've already gotten your daily rewards. Just do that. That's what I did. And so I was able to get the durability runes. This shit is fucking awesome, by the way. The durability runes are amazing. You get bonus boon duration and a bit of toughness, and then you also get on the 6 bonus here, it's fantastic. 10 maximum health, that's cool, but what's really cool is that grants nearby allies protection and regeneration for 3 seconds and resistance for 1 second when struck. Cooldown 20 seconds. I find this to be really awesome because not only are those bonuses for you, but they're also for your teammates as well. So it provides some great support to your teammates that are around you because, well, if you're doing open world stuff like I am, there's pretty much always going to be people around you, even if you're just exploring the maps and doing events. Like whenever you're just doing the regular dynamic events, which is what I really, really love doing in the game. There's always sometimes can be people around you, like. So I think that's just super cool. Help your teammates survive. I find that to be really, really awesome, and it's something that it was pretty much desperately needed for me on this build because the Ranger is not very tanky without its pet. Like if your pet is like struggling to draw aggro, if there's like a shitload of enemies, I mean, it's gonna be kind of hard for you to survive. I mean, also you have fantastic down skills, and that's something I want to mention is the down skills on this class are fantastic. And it's mainly lick wounds. So lick wounds, you can have your pet revive you, and if you have a pet that has a lot of toughness and a lot of health, like the smoke scale, it's going to be very easy for it to revive you. So you don't really have to worry about that. I just prefer not getting down that much. But you can also go full on glass cannon if you'd like throw on some scholar runes or something. I did also go with night trinkets here as well. And then this is Marauder because I was able to get this off of the fractal vendor. Or no, I actually got this off of the Laurel vendor. It's pretty interesting. Actually, don't I have a little? Actually, I thought I had an infusion or something I could use for it, or an enrichment. Um, anyway, yeah. So, greatsword, longbow are weapons. You could also go with, you can go with axe, warhorn, axe. You can go with. I've seen people use like axe dagger, which is a little weird. But for the most part, I'm basically on greatsword, and when I need range, or if I want to really pump out a lot of damage in a short amount of time, I will switch over to longbow. But for the most part, I'm on greatsword. Um, and yeah, actually, let's look at the build. The build now. I'm not gonna go over this too much because I feel like this video's already been pretty fucking long. You could just go ahead and see what skills we have selected here. Honestly, they're pretty much for obvious reasons. I mean, more damage with the greatsword, more damage with longbows. I mean, it's kind of obvious, why we're doing these things, and yeah. And for the whole quickness thing, we do get quickness based off of worldly impact here, and yeah. So let's go and get into our utility skills. So we have We Heal as one. Another great one is Troll Urgent or whatever the Ungent. Or whatever the hell it's called. This is nice. It's an 8 seconds, almost 9,000 heal in total. I do prefer Wii Heal as one though, because it just gives you that instant heal, and it's on a 20-second cooldown, unlike this one where it's on a 25-second cooldown. If you go with another specialization, I believe you can actually spec Wii Heal as one to go down to 16-second cooldown, which is pretty insane. And yeah, MOA stance. I love MOA stance because you can just click it and then get a whole bunch of boons. It's real simple and real easy. There are obviously some great alternatives to this. Ranger has some fantastic utility skills. We have all these different spirits. The ones that I'd recommend going with are probably Stone Spirits or Frost Spirit, or hell, even maybe even Storm Spirit, but usually like Frost Spirit, Stone Spirit. We have Protect Me, which is a fantastic stun break. If you need a stun break, go and throw that on. Or you can go and throw on Dolyak stance for a stun break, which is probably a bit better because it does give you stability for another 7 seconds. So if you get another fuckhead trying to break you down or whatever, um, and it does essentially give you the same effect. I mean, for 6 seconds, you'll get 33% reduced condition damage and reduced overall damage, but this does give you some barrier as well. Um, and yeah, and it also breaks allies out of stuns, by the way, as well. That's another thing to mention there. We have Quickening Zephyr, which is fantastic. You can also spec this in to have it so it's like a 36-second cooldown, I think. You can go and run another Signet if you want. You can go and run Signet of Stone, which I would not recommend. We're going to talk about that in a bit. Um, but, you can do that, whatever the hell you want to do. There's a lot of different things you could use. Frost Trap. Frost Trap's a pretty good one. And yeah, lots of different ones you can run there. We have Signet of the Wild here. I never ever activate this. I always just like it because it gives you increased ferocity. I just leave it as is because I don't really. I mean, I can replace this with like Quickening Zephyr or something, but I just kind of prefer just to have this there. And then we have Sikkim, more damage, and then One Wolf Pack, more damage. One thing I do like about One Wolf Pack is that it's an instantaneous cast, basically, or Strength of the Pack actually takes like a couple seconds to cast it, and it's kind of annoying. So I just prefer One Wolf Pack, and it's a 15-second less cooldown, so therefore I can pop it more. And usually what I do is I just pop these three whenever it's off cooldown. One Wolf Pack, I usually save it against, a bit higher targets. But if I'm just doing like general open world content, I'll just activate that whenever I can just to go through things faster. Um, and yeah, I actually forgot to pop this golem here. So let's talk about the unique mechanic on this class, which is of course the pets. And I see a lot of complaint about AI of pets. I don't have a problem with AI. I really don't. I never really have had a problem with the AI on the pets in this game. And it's kind of cool because you can you can do avoid combat and guard here. Each pet has their own unique ability that they can proc, as well as, of course, having your own Soulbeast abilities you can go with that are exclusive to that pet. For the most part, of course, we do have, like depending on what type of pet you have, like ferocious, you have versatile, like you'll get that third skill that's dependent on that type. So for your pets, I like Smoke Scale because it's really really cool. You have it's a pretty tanky pet. It's got a lot of toughness there, which toughness is one of the main attributes in terms of drawing aggro off an enemy. So your toughness on your pet, for me, does matter. Somebody who likes having my pet out a lot, I like it to tank, and get the aggro of the enemy, so that way I could just hit shit without really having to worry about getting hit. Um, and that toughness there does matter. So if you are going with somebody who has less toughness than you, that's just generally not a good idea, at least in my opinion. And so we have some pretty good ones here. I do like this one here because I believe they just completely evade attacks while in this, I'm pretty sure, so they don't even get hit. It's a great tank if you are wanting to use something that's not the bear and gives you quite a bit of damage. I believe, honestly, I firmly believe this is better than using a bear. Um, but obviously we have a bear for Tanking, if you are looking for tons of CC, a great option is the Electric Wyvern.
I chose you.
This guy is fantastic. Virtually all of his attacks are some form of CC. And then of course we have two two CC moves here. Actually, is that even CC? I don't think Tail Lash is CC. But yeah, fantastic there. If you want to get like a hybrid of CC and damage, I think a great option is the Rock Gazelle. He has some fantastic attacks, a great uh, head toss ability here, which does a launch. It does quite a bit of damage, and is on a pretty short cooldown of 16 seconds. He has the charge here, which dazes targets. You have a vulnerability kick there. Um, and you also have your kick, charge, and then worldly impact on here as well, which is a fantastic Soulbeast abilities. Another one that I don't like running is Red Moa. Red Moa is interesting because its AI skills are fucking ass cheeks. I do not like the AI skills at all. It does such little amounts of damage. I mean, this guy does basically nothing against targets from my testing. But it does have a heal that heals nearby allies as well. So it's not just, you know, um, what is it? It's not just having just healing the pet itself. It's actually healing other people as well, which heals 5 other targets. So there's a chance it could not even be you. It could just be 5 other people that you're running with. But it does have some pretty solid abilities here. So we have Worldly Impact, Frenzied Attack, and then we have Harmonic Cry, which does a little bit of healing. Um, but it is nice to have the extra bit healing. Another one that I do really like running is the Jaraconda or whatever the fuck it's called, or Jacaranda or whatever. It has some fucking terrible AI skills for the most part, but it has this here, which is just batshit crazy. It does a fuckload of damage and is on an 8-second cooldown. It's fantastic, and I like this pet for whenever I'm going into harder situations because I can pop Soul Beast and I could heal myself really, really quickly. I get like a probably like 7,000 health just there, as well as getting some regen in. Um, and so that's fantastic. But for the most part, I will either run the Rock Gazelle or the Smoke Scale. And so for right now, I'm gonna go and run the Rock Gazelle because I want to show off its like knocking down and stuff like that. But yeah. So whenever I choose a pet, I take in mind its AI skills as well as its skills in its Soul Beast form. So that's usually what I do. You can go ahead and run whatever pet you want, but that's just my recommendations for what you should run. So yeah, let's just go and get into the overall like rotation now. So we have Swoop here for a 1,000 closer, or whatever the fuck it's called. We go pretty far. I also like using that for mobility's sake, so if I just want to get somewhere quicker, or if the game, for some fucking reason, sometimes this happens where it still thinks I'm in combat even though I'm actually not, I will use that for mobility's sake. We have counterattack here, which is fantastic for CC, so if you get hit, you can counterattack with a powerful kick that does some CC damage. Speaking of CC, we have this Hilt Bash ability, which will daze them, but usually what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to hit them from behind. This will actually also refresh your Maul ability, which is going to be your main source of damage. And sometimes that could hit for over 5k, by the way, which is absolutely crazy. The auto here is fantastic because it gives you some endurance regeneration on that third attack, which is cool. So like I said, I'll usually pop Moa Stance, Sick 'em, and One Wolf Pack off cooldown, and then I'll go ahead. I'll just show you real quick. I mean, how much damage can this thing do, really? And I did hit that Maul there. Fuck, I made a mistake. And I mean, yeah, we could do a good amount of damage there. And yeah, so that Maul really does quite a bit of damage. And it has an insanely short cooldown. Also remember that it has a 3 and a 4-second cooldown with us trading into it. And yeah, it's really crazy, like, how much damage you could do with this thing. Yeah, like damn near 5,000 there, 5,441. Yeah, it's really crazy how much damage you could actually do with this thing. And I mean, 8,000 for Worldly Impact there. Pop these. And so let's go over to longbow skills now. So we actually have this skill. If you are going to camp out on the longbow, it is recommended that you kind of like stay as, you know, at the range limit because you're going to be doing more damage. I mean, I'm not even close to the range limit here, but it is at a 1,500 range, so it's fantastic for super long range combat. We have here fire multiple arrows at their foe. Very, very similar to the ability on the greatsword where it does a fuckload of damage and applies vulnerability. Just a lot of damage there. We have this here, Hunter Shot. Now, if I'm getting aggro really hardcore, Stealth, I believe, does break aggro immediately, so I'll usually pop that just to break aggro. Um, Point Blank Shot, I use this if a target's coming close to me and I need to pop it away, or I'll use it if I pop Barrage in an area, and then the target's actually moving towards me. I'll pop it so he goes back into the Barrage radius, and also does some CC, so I'll use it for CC as well. And of course, Barrage is your big fucking hitter that's on 16-second cooldown. This shit does an absolute assload of damage for quite a bit of time. And it does cripple them as well, I believe, yeah. So it is kind of harder for them to move out of the radius. And so yeah, that's just generally how to play this build. It is incredibly easy to play. I think that's the main thing for me that I love about the Ranger is that the rotation is so simple to the point where it's really hard to fuck it up. Like it's hard to really fuck up the rotation and to fuck up your burst. It is generally just incredibly hard. Like there I didn't pop up Worldly Impact, but it's not a big deal because I'm still going to be doing a lot of damage anyway. And where the Ranger really excels, at least this build, is the burst damage of it. It's not like too good for like overall sustained. I don't even know why the Maul didn't proc there. That's a little weird. But yeah, it's just overall fantastic build to play. And so I highly recommend at least trying this out. I think it's fucking phenomenal. And so let me go ahead and wrap this up with some alternative runes you guys can use, because I forgot to mention that. So if you are looking to get a fantastic amount of defense, the Doliac rune would be really good. It's always selling for cheap. Vampirism is fantastic for Zerging or just general play because of the fact that you get 10% of your health back on a kill. It actually has saved my ass quite a bit of times in other classes. And the Ranger rune is also fantastic as well. Those actually sell pretty expensively. And let's go and just look up Ranger. Superior rune of the Ranger here gives you some precision and veracity, which is very, very nice, and 7% damage whenever you have an active companion. Fantastic rune. I would recommend running this if you don't want to run a lot of the other things and you just want some simple precision and ferocity. I think that's really cool there. Also, if you don't want to run night runes, I think a fantastic, or not, accessories here, fantastic ones to run are assassin, because you can get bonus critical chance, which we already have good crit chance. I mean, half of our hits are going to be critting, and then when we run Moa stance, I mean, 70% crit chance there is pretty good. We can get it higher if we were to spec into it more, but like I said in some of my previous videos, I prefer to have a mix of both defensiveness and offensiveness, because I just don't like going down most of the time. And yeah, I will say though, a lot of medium armor in this game looks fucking terrible in my opinion. So if you are planning on playing a Ranger, just keep that in mind. Medium armor is probably the worst looking armor in the entire game for me. So I usually just run an outfit, which I actually look really fucking badass on this one. And yeah, that's gonna cover it, guys. So go ahead and try out this build. It's fun as fuck. It's incredibly simple to play. And peace.